Hi everyone. In this lesson, we're going to examine an interesting phenomenon given the title by this gentleman, George Ritzer, of the McDonaldization of society. This is a somewhat, I guess, unorthodox or rather awkward way of noting a process by which more and more aspects of society have come to be based upon the principles of this very well-known fast food restaurant. Weber introduced the notion of rationalization, and according to Ritzer, this is the key to appreciating and understanding the McDonaldization of society. Now, if you have your study guides with you, you can highlight a working definition of McDonaldization of society over on the 6th page. Now, according to Ritzer, as I mentioned just a moment ago, the central feature, what some people have argued to be the building block of McDonaldization, is this notion of rationalization. Again, an idea that was coined by Weber. Now, according to Weber, rationalization is the most important trend in modern societies. He referred to it, remember, as a process by which efficiency and reason replaces emotional, spontaneous, and traditional ways of accomplishing tasks. So he sees this again as a highly significant, if not the most important trend, marking, again, modern societies. And he argued it would continue until modern societies become iron cages. The result would be great uniformity and the overall dehumanization of everyone. So in a way, as you look again at this interesting little photograph, McDonaldization is a sort of metaphor for rationalization gone wild. Okay? Bear in mind too that according to Ritzer, the McDonaldization of society is marked by several key principles. You need to be alerted to each one of these and be able to appreciate them. And just to give you a little bit of indication in terms of how widespread and all-inclusive McDonald's is, bear in mind there are McDonald's in Grand Canyon National Park. Ski slopes in Sweden have them. Many college campuses have McDonald's. Fast food is also increasingly being offered in military bases, on ships, in hospitals, and even in some high schools. Also, what's very interesting is that the demands of the fast food industry have really, in effect, forced other industries that service it to also McDonaldize. Now, according to Ritzer, the hallmarks, the key principles that make up McDonaldization include those that you will find on the 6th page of your 3rd study guide. Remember again on this page, first at the top, there's sort of a working definition of McDonaldization, but spend a lot of time focusing on these 4 key principles that Ritzer argued form more or less the foundation of McDonaldization. You might want to look at them a bit in this particular way. Okay, control, predictability, calculability, and efficiency. Let's follow through with respect to those particular components as I have them arranged over on the 6th page. Let's take a look at each one of these. Let's start off again with efficiency. McDonald's prides itself in being very efficient in its operation. Again, keep in mind that it offers a great number of products and services to customers in a quick and orderly fashion. And in many respects, this is the hallmark, if you will, of efficiency. For example, if an organization is efficient, then customers can move quickly from one situation to another. In the case of McDonald's, from being hungry to being full. On the other hand, there may be services that argue you can move rather quickly and efficiently from being overweight to being, again, more normal weight for your size, your height, your age, etc. Likewise, in McDonaldization situations as applied to organizations, employees have specific roles to play, and this specific division of labor simply adds to operational efficiency. You want an example of efficiency? Take a look at this well-known breakfast sandwich pioneered by McDonald's. To be, again, when you take a look at the Egg McMuffin, in one sandwich, a complete meal, meat, eggs, cheese, and bread. Well, recently, Taco Bell went McDonald's one step further and introduced the AM Crunch Wrap. Notice the difference again. You get eggs, cheese, meat. You also have bread, but notice what they've added right here to make it even more efficient. So you've got one hand free. Okay, that's a hash brown. Efficiency. That's a key element of McDonaldization. Walmart. If you walk through a Walmart, notice all the services that are provided. You can have your eyes checked. You can have your car serviced. Likewise, you can bank. And you can shop for a wide variety of products, all under one roof. How efficient is that? Now, a second key element that makes up McDonaldization is what's referred to as calculability. Key thing to remember with respect to this. Number one, calculability implies an emphasis on quantity over quality and the time it takes to get a product. For example, more and more colleges and universities size up students based upon test scores when it comes to what students are they going to allow in. SAT, ACT, etc. To illustrate my point, testing services now are a $2 billion a year industry. Furthermore, take a look again at agencies or organizations that will create glasses for you and guarantee you to have 2 pairs in 1 hour. Or you can lose X amount of pounds in X amount of days. Another interesting aspect, dollar menus, and also 24-hour a day services. Again, that figures into this notion of calculability. For example, when you look at McDonald's, it's kind of interesting to note that fries are cut precisely to 9/32 of an inch in its thickness. That's a good example, again, of calculability. Another element that figures into this is the cost of the products themselves. That's where the dollar menus kick in and become very, very important in both a direct and indirect way. And then again, as I mentioned a moment ago, speed has become very important. Notice that stores are open, again, frequently, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Most of you probably have already noticed that a lot of retail stores, again, offer holiday merchandise earlier and earlier and earlier, giving us consumers more time to purchase and to consider options. Now, another key element that figures into it, and by the way, one other thing I didn't mention earlier with respect to efficiency, how about this? Although not created by McDonald's, McDonald's started offering, again, drive-through services in 1972. Here's my question. What other, again, retail organizations are you familiar with that offer this kind of service? Okay, well, it's pretty efficient. Makes our lives a little bit easier if you wish. Now, The third component, according to Ritzer, is uniformity and predictability. More and more industries, more and more businesses have become more and more predictable. We consumers really like predictability. I don't know about you. I kind of like walking into a Target or a Walmart because I know exactly where everything's laid out. I know I can travel around the country, and most Walmarts that I go into and most Target stores that I go in, they're all laid out in pretty much the same way. Well, this is true of a lot of popular websites as well. And also consider malls you've been in. It's interesting again that most have about the same kind of stores. And it makes our whole way of life easier. It's nice to know when I order a Big Mac at home, it's going to be the same Big Mac I can get at Chicago as well as at San Diego. And then last but by no means least, according to Ritzer, the primary organizational principle of McDonaldization, control through automation. Control through automation. McDonald's probably more so than most organizations, controls its employees, giving them specific directions on how to act. What's kind of interesting is that, again, there is a hamburger university near Chicago where employees go and they learn about what to say, how to dress. The training program is designed to introduce employees across the world to the company's standards and practices. And it's literally like going to school, as you can see here. And when you finish, you get a diploma, okay, which will really help you in many respects to do the job you're supposed to do. Now, why all this emphasis, both direct and indirect, on control through automation? Okay, and again, keep in mind that McDonald's and many other organizations, if at all possible, they're going to replace human employees by technology. And that's really the key to truly appreciating and understanding what's going on here. Think about it for a moment. What's the most inefficient element within an organization? Well, it's people. And so what do you find today? You find you and I, as consumers, scanning a lot of our purchased products. Furthermore, it's much easier than going to a human being, a teller at a bank, to get money. Go to an ATM. Moviegoers can purchase tickets online or from machines. So again, let's remove the most unreliable element, the element that's going to constantly screw up with some kind of technology. Now, what's interesting, and what I want you to bear in mind, is that McDonaldization has some genuine benefits. Here are a few for you to consider. And you won't find this in your study guide nor in the text. So highlight these and bear them in mind, if you will. McDonald's, for example, serves 22 billion customers a year worldwide. So McDonaldization has certainly accomplished this particular task. It's a genuine benefit. Furthermore, I think you would agree with me that this figures into it. Interestingly enough, one of many factors involved in the expansion of the fast food industry has been the changing role of women. Likewise, we talked earlier about how important predictability and familiarity is. And there has been an increase in standardization in pricing and uniform quality of goods sold. Most of us, again, are comfortable knowing that the Big Mac we purchase at home is going to be probably same quality as a Big Mac we'll purchase at another McDonald's store in another state, and it'll be approximately the same cost. Now, on the other hand, there are some genuine problems that are highlighted by critics. Take a look at these for just a moment. In other words, I want you to bear in mind that not everybody has welcomed with open arms McDonaldization. They've regarded it in some respects as potentially threatening in both a direct and an indirect way. So although there are decided advantages, you want to take into account that there are, in the minds of some people, some negatives, as is highlighted here by Ben Hine. Certainly McDonaldization has generated these particular developments that can have negative consequences. And kind of like this, again, suggesting again that McDonaldization is not all good. And will we ever see McDonaldization on the moon? Who knows? But go back again to these problems. Dehumanization is one that I want you to consider. Keep in mind that jobs in McDonaldized industries are set up for everybody to do, but the work doesn't require a lot of skill. Ferrante points out, for example, in her works, that the fast food industry's annual turnover rate can be anywhere between 150% and 200%. Also, notice that next point. The human capacity for imagination, for surprise, for error, it's all going to be squashed with respect to McDonaldization because humans are considered the weak link. Going on, huge operations. McDonaldization correlates to the growth of multinational corporations. They are housed or founded in one country, but they're expansive and massive. Walmart's a classic example. Its revenues are approximately in the area of $400 billion. That makes it not only the world's biggest corporation, but at the same time, there are only 27 countries in the world that have a gross national product that's higher than Walmart. Furthermore, these large organizations can have negative impacts on the countries in which they operate. So it leads into this point, negative impact or effect on other cultures, resulting in the loss of local uniqueness and flavor. Well, again, several things to bear in mind here. Some of these large, complex organizations that have become McDonaldized have argued that we're really, in effect, doing good. We're creating jobs, we're improving the overall economy, we're helping to spread money, goods, and technologies around the planet. Furthermore, we're not really responsible for problems like obesity or heart disease or the exploitation of workers because we're giving customers in these other countries what they really want. Critics, on the other hand, are genuinely concerned, thinking again that there are real problems here, that the overall impact has created an even greater gap between those who are wealthy and those who are poor. So rather than bringing about more equality, McDonaldization and the spread of multinational organizations has produced even more inequality. Ferrante also points out the fact that there are some external costs associated with McDonaldization. Specifically, again, treatment for injured workers and consumers, cleaning up the environment, and the like. And as McDonaldization spreads, what happens to not only local, unique flavor in other cultures, but what here in the United States? And of course, there is a sort of generalized movement taking place in the United States in which some people are turning away from the big chains and looking out for mom and pop operations. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at what may lie ahead with respect to bureaucracies and their relationship to society.